Hey everyone, so today I wanted to share some of my Sephora recommendations with you. The Sephora Vib sale starts on April 14th, and I am planning on shopping the sale and picking up a few products. I did a video on my wish list. If you want to check it out, I'll link it below. I have a lot of lip and cheek products on my wish list, so they're currently in my cart. I need to narrow it down before the sale actually starts, but I wanted to sit down and share some of my top recommendations with you. I do have a mix, so I have some newer launches that I definitely think are worth the money, some older favorites I'm really enjoying. These are kind of like some of my go-to high-end products of the moment, things that I think are really worth the money. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I wanted to narrow it down, so I have my top 3 products in each category. So 3 face products, 3 cheek products, 3 lip products, 3 eye products, and then 3 skincare products as well. I'll put the dates of the VIB sale for you on the screen and in the description box below. Even if you're not shopping the sale, these are products that I recommend at any point. So last month I picked up the Rare Beauty highlighter. I held off for a little while because when this initially launched, it was getting so much hype on social media. And I do like highlighter, but I was kind of going through like a liquid highlighter phase. So I have powder highlighters and I enjoy them, but I don't know that it really is like my favorite formula these days compared to liquid. Anyway, I finally picked it up because I was just curious about it. It got the best of me and I was like, okay, I'm going to try it and see if it's worth the hype. I totally understand the hype surrounding this product. I have worn this highlighter every single time I've done my makeup, except for, I want to say twice since I got it. It is so beautiful. I love how it looks on the skin. It truly is like a very lightweight, weightless formula. It glides on the skin. It's very intense, but you can kind of tone it down if you use a very soft touch, or sometimes I'll just go over with a little bit of powder to tone it down too. I think that this looks amazing. Like I deal with a lot of texture on my skin and I feel like this just glides over the texture. It looks glowy, it looks healthy, it looks great on days where I'm wearing like a lot of makeup, but also on days where I'm wearing very minimal makeup. I have it on my cheeks, on my nose. I did put it in my inner corner so you can see that it gets very intense as well. And most days I'll just like dust this all over my eyes as my eyeshadow for the day as well. So I do have the pink one in my cart. I hope it doesn't sell out because I cannot wait to have that one. If you've been thinking about trying the Rare Beauty liquid blushes, I do think the sale is a really good time to pick one up and try it out. These intimidated me for a little while because I saw so many people or so many videos of people applying them and it just looking like very intense on their cheeks. These are very richly pigmented and a little bit goes a long way. So if you apply too much, you will get like a very vibrant blush application. But they're also very easy to work with, very easy to sheer out. I usually apply a little bit to the back of my hand and then use my brush on my hand and then stipple it on the cheeks, and that works perfectly. You can totally apply like the dot to the cheek and blend it out as well, but I find that I have more control when I actually apply it to my hand first. These are really gorgeous, very beginner friendly, and I think if you're someone who is intimidated by liquid blush, you'll be really happy with these. I wear these when I'm in a hurry, when I want my skin to look extra smooth, like they just look flawless and they're very easy to apply. So they really are such a good option and I think they're worth the hype. They have a bunch of gorgeous shades. I have 2. I have Hope and then also Encourage. I do recommend the Rare Beauty formula over the new Charlotte Tilbury Matte Beauty Blush ones. I wasn't really planning on sharing products to avoid, but if you're kind of going back and forth between the two, the Charlotte Tilbury product, in my opinion, looks a little bit patchy on the skin. It also fades very quickly throughout the day. You can blend it out and it does look a little bit softer. So if Rare Beauty is like too intense for you, maybe you would like Charlotte Tilbury, but I don't think it's worth the money or the price tag because it does take a little bit of extra effort to make it look natural and smooth on the skin. It usually does end up lifting my foundation and looking kind of patchy and uneven. Again, I would recommend maybe applying to the back of your hand first and then like tapping it onto the skin or using a brush or a sponge. But I truly do think the Rare Beauty formula is easier to work with and looks more even and smooth and also lasts longer throughout the day. So I personally would avoid the Charlotte Tilbury formula. It's actually been a while since I've tried a matte powder blush formula I've really enjoyed. Even before I was into liquid cheek products, I always preferred like a glowy or shimmery blush. But these actually changed my mind. These are from Too Faced. They are the Cloud Crush Blurring Blushes. I'm wearing this one today. I mean, I just have a small amount on and I feel like my hair is mostly covering it because I wore it like a little bit higher up on the cheeks. But this is the shade Velvet Crush. This formula actually does work to blur the skin. It has a very smooth, very velvety soft finish And when you apply it to the cheeks, it almost melts into the skin in a very, very natural way. It doesn't look powdery or dry by any means at all. And I feel like now in the back of my mind, like I always associate powder blushes with more of a dry texture now that I'm really into creams and liquids. But this formula is so smooth, very beautiful on the skin. And if you're looking for a blush that does have like that blurring quality to it, I think you'll really like these. I also have the shade Candy Clouds, which is like a bright Barbie pink. It does look really pretty. It brightens up the face, and because I do wear a lot of pink eyeshadow, I feel like it complements those looks really, really well. So again, I'm really shocked by how much I like these, just because when it comes to a powder blush, I rarely like a matte formula, but this has to be one of the best matte formulas I've tried in years. I think they did such a good job with these. Okay, let's move on to lip products. I'm going to say something kind of controversial here. Do not get mad at me. I know this will be like an automatic thumbs down from some people, but I don't really like the new Rare Beauty tinted lip oils. I was so sad because I love lip oils so much. Like those are probably my go-to type of lip products these days. But the Rare Beauty ones are different. They're kind of like a glossy lip stain. So when you apply them, they look very shiny, very pretty, but that initial layer wears off fast, like within 15 minutes for me. And then I'm left with the stain. I like a good lip stain, but this lip stain dries my lips out. It enhances just all of the fine lines. It doesn't look good on me. To be fair, yesterday was the first time I wore it. And I wouldn't normally write a product off so quickly, but I was just shocked because I feel like they're marketed as like a very glossy lip oil texture that does stain the lips. But honestly, that initial glossy layer wore off so fast. And then I found it to be very drying. So next time I wear it, I'm going to exfoliate, prep my lips a little bit better. We'll see if it helps. I'll keep you updated. But honestly, if you're looking for like more of a glossy lip oil texture, I would recommend this formula from Rare Beauty. This is their, what's the official name? It's the Stay Vulnerable Glossy Lip Balm. I'm wearing the shade Nearly Neutral. I do have a lip liner underneath, but I've been a fan of these for, I want to say about a year at this point. I have two shades. I have Nearly Neutral and then also Nearly Berry, and then I have Nearly Apricot in my cart for the VIB sale. This to me feels more of what I would consider to be like a lip oil. Definitely a mix between like a liquid lip balm and a lip oil. But this just has like a very pretty, shiny, glossy texture. It feels incredibly moisturizing, very, very nourishing on the lips. And even once it wears off, my lips feel really moisturized afterwards compared to the new formula that kind of dries my lips out. So if you feel the same way as me and you do like more of like a glossy, balmy texture, I think you'll really like these. These really are such a good everyday formula because they're very comfortable. I always bring them with me when I'm traveling. I always have one, like I'm just carrying it around. I bring it to the car, I throw it inside my wallet. They're just very nice to have. Speaking of a glossy lip stain, I really do like this formula from Fenty. I wouldn't say they're the exact same. The Rare Beauty formula is probably a little bit softer, a little bit more subtle, whereas this one is very intense and very bold, but the concept of the two products is pretty much identical, at least in my opinion. This is basically like a very glossy, intense, richly pigmented lip product when you apply it. And then once that glossy layer wears off, you're left with a really pretty lip stain that does last all day. You can wear this and let the glossy layer wear off on its own, but I've also seen people apply it and then take that glossy layer off and just be left with the lip stain. If you've tried the new Rare Beauty tinted lip oil, what do you think? I asked you guys on Instagram and some of you said you love it, and then some of you said that you found it to be really dry. So I do think it has some mixed opinions, which is interesting because on social media, I've really only seen like positive reviews so far. So I would love to know what you think. Honestly, between the two, I do prefer Fenty's formula. Rare Beauty has more shades to choose from, and I do think it's maybe a little bit softer on the lips, but I think Fenty did such a good job. I actually have another one of these in my cart, the red one. I think I'll grab that one for the summertime. And you know what? I'm not a Rare Beauty hater. I really do love Rare Beauty. I mean, I have a ton of recommendations in today's video. I just think as a whole, the brand gets so much hype on social media. So when products are initially launched, they're getting like a lot of positive reviews, and then later on, you might see that some people didn't enjoy it. These are the Maracuja Juicy Lips from Tarte. Now they do have two different formulas. They have the original ones, and then they also have a plumping version. To be completely honest with you, I don't think there is a big difference between these formulas. The plumping version does have like a little bit of a tingly feel to it. It's not as intense as like Too Faced or even Buxom. It's definitely more subtle, but I don't find that it actually plumps up the lips. My lips do look really full, but that's because the formula is really glossy and very smooth. So I wouldn't say you need to choose one formula over the other. I would just look at the shades and see if there is a color you like better out of the formulas. I do have quite a few. I don't know which ones are permanent shades and which ones were limited edition. So I'll find the ones that are actually available and swatch them for you. During the 21 Days of Beauty, I actually picked up 2 of the Maracuja Juicy Lip Plumps because these were on sale for 50% off. I just got these in the mail, so I haven't actually worn them yet, but the shade Poppy is beautiful. I cannot wait to wear that one for spring and summer. They're so comfortable to wear. They leave your lips looking super smooth, really shiny, and I love them. Again, I typically do bring one of these with me when I'm leaving the house because they're easy to throw on. They give you like a hint of color. They're super pretty. So I've enjoyed these for a while. I feel like it's been, when did I first try these? I want to say it was like summer of 2021. I get my years so mixed up, but I want to say it was like summer of 2021 or fall of 2021 when I tried these for the first time and just fell in love with the formula. So I definitely think they're worth the hype, worth the price. I have a few eye and brow products to share with you in today's video. Now, normally this category for me is a little bit bigger when I'm sharing recommendations, but I haven't been wearing a lot of eyeshadow palettes. I mean, I don't know if that's completely true. I guess I've been rotating through some of my older palettes and getting use out of them, but I wouldn't say there's one that I felt really passionately about, at least enough to share in today's video, except for this one. Normally during the sales, I do pick up a Natasha Denona mini palette because I really enjoy them. I think it's a nice way to try her formula without committing to like a giant full-sized palette, or even one of her mini palettes, which are a little bit more expensive these days. The mini retro palette is probably my favorite mini, just because I find that it's so versatile. It's really pretty on the eyes. You can get like a lighter, softer, pinky look. You can do something a little bit more cool toned and smoky. I do have the matte pink shadow in my crease today, with also another random shadow from a Jason Wu palette. I started off with this, but I wanted something just a little bit more dramatic. And then I have a little bit of this pink shadow tapped on top of a cream shadow that I'll share in today's video. That's what I'm talking about. I feel like I just use like a random mix of products these days rather than sticking with like one specific palette. But I enjoy this one. I feel like consistently it is something I reach for, whether it is the spring or the summer, the fall or the winter. You can do a lot with this little mini 5-pan palette. It looks very pink toned in the pan, but I feel like a lot of these pinky shadows almost pull a little bit more neutral, except for this one. This one does look pretty pink on the eyes, but I love it. It is the one I wanted to recommend in today's video in case you're looking for a new palette. If you're a fan of single shadows and you like cream shadows, I do recommend checking out the KVD Beauty Dazzle Sticks. These had their viral moment a while ago, but then they sold out and it took them forever to restock them. Like I want to say months and months. So I feel like by the time they did restock them, a lot of people forgot about them. But I keep mine in my everyday makeup drawer and I use it all the time. So I have the shade Hail Surge. I mainly have this all over my lid with just a little bit of the metallic shadow from this one. This one kind of has more of a translucent base, so I feel like combined they're so beautiful. But I feel like this just enhances my look. No matter what I'm doing, if I take a little bit of this and tap it all over the lid, it just kind of adds like something extra to the look. It has like that wet looking sheen to it. It's very smooth on the eyes. For a cream shadow, it stays in place very, very well without creasing. A lot of very sparkly shadows can fall on the face throughout the day, but again, because this is a cream, I just don't experience that. I'll use it alongside of pretty much every palette. I'll use it on its own. I can use it with a bronzer in the crease, and it just looks really, really pretty. They do have additional shades, but right now I only have the one. And I know a lot of you are into like that very sparkly, wet looking shadow look these days. So if that's the case, this really is beautiful. Glossier's Boy Brow has become my favorite go-to brow gel. I can't stop wearing this. In fact, it's so small. I misplaced it the other day because I was filming a video using it, and it's white, so I feel like it blends in with a lot of my makeup products, my makeup storage. And for like 3 days, I had to use a different brow gel. And there are other brow gels I like, but honestly, I miss this one so much because it enhances my brows in so many different ways. It holds them into place really, really well, but it also gives them like this thick, voluminous, fluffy texture. On top of that, it is a pigmented brow gel, so I feel like it fills them in, and I really don't have to do a lot of work to my brows after I use this. In fact, if the front of my brows started just a little bit farther in, I feel like I wouldn't even need to use a brow pen because for the most part, this does like all of the work. It's very quick, very easy to work with. And in my opinion, it really is a game changer. It's a very wet product. So if you do prefer more of a dry formula, I would skip over it. I usually do end up scraping just like a little bit off because if you apply too much, it takes forever to dry and it looks a little bit too dramatic. So just keep that in mind, but I'm really impressed by this. Let me share a few complexion products with you and then I'll talk about skincare. So I finally tried the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. I don't know why I hadn't tried this in the past because I love trying new powders, but for whatever reason, it just wasn't really on my radar, which is strange because now that I love it, I feel like I hear everyone talking about it. So it's like one of those things. Once you notice something, you see it everywhere, and that's the case with this product. It really is such a gorgeous powder. So I've been using this a lot. I use it under my eyes. Like I'll take a little like triangular puff and just take some out of the cap and really press it under my eyes to set my concealer into place. And then I'll take a large fluffy brush and use it for the rest of my face. And it does mattify my skin. It makes it look very, very smooth, and it locks my makeup into place all day long. Like even if I'm just using a fluffy brush with a very small amount of the product on my cheeks, like the makeup, the cream products don't go anywhere. It really doesn't look heavy or cakey on the skin, even if I am using a good amount, like under my eyes to almost bake, which I don't typically do these days, but if you want to do that with this product, I do think it is the perfect option for that. I really do think a little bit goes a long way though, because I've used this a ton and I usually go through powder fairly quickly and it looks like I've barely made a dent in it. So I do love it. The only con is that it is fragranced and I feel like it's pretty noticeable. It's almost like a sweet floral scent and it's not bad, but it is pretty noticeable in my opinion. I've tried a lot of good concealers lately. I wasn't sure if I should recommend the Milk Makeup one or if I should recommend, there was another one I was thinking about. I decided to go with this one because I feel like this one is just a great option no matter what skin type you have. It's the Urban Decay Stay Naked Quickie Concealer. First of all, this comes with a lot of product. You get 0.55 fluid ounces. So you're getting a lot in here for the price already. But I think, again, a little bit of this product goes a long way. It is more of a medium to full coverage concealer, but it almost has like this natural soft finish to it. I wouldn't say it's completely satin or completely matte. It kind of falls in between. It looks really natural on the skin. So whether I'm dealing with dryness or my skin's a little bit more oily, this product just wears well on the skin. I wouldn't say it's quite as satin as like the Too Faced Born This Way, which was my go-to for years and years. But I think that's why it might be a little bit more ideal for me during the spring and the summer. I also like wearing this on days where I'm not wearing foundation because I'll just spot conceal, blend it out, set it, and I do think it looks really flattering on the skin. And because you get so much product in here, I feel like you can do that fairly often and not go through it super, super quickly. I also wanted to recommend this product from Rare Beauty. I did not purposefully put so many Rare Beauty products in this video. I feel like these are just the products I've really been enjoying. But I do really like this product. It's their under eye brightener. So I usually use this on days when I'm not wearing a lot of makeup. If I'm going for more of a natural makeup day, that's when I'll use this. I just wore this yesterday, so I applied a little bit of foundation, like half a pump of foundation, and blended it all over my skin. I skipped concealer and went in with this product, and it just works really well to add some light under your eyes. It's an interesting finish because you know, when I think of like an under eye brightener, I basically just think of a super light concealer, but that's not what this is. It is a little bit lighter than kind of my go-to concealer shade, but it has like this really pretty, very natural satin finish. So it does add a little bit of light under the eyes without being like a sparkly or shimmery product. What's interesting about this is it's a very thin formula that I would assume would just kind of settle into all of my fine lines. And it does crease a little bit, as will any product that you put under your eyes, but because it is more of a very light coverage, very natural product, it's not quite as noticeable when it does crease. And I feel like you can just tap out the product. It looks really smooth, very pretty, and it does make your skin look glowy in a very natural way. So I'm impressed by this. Okay, let me finish up with 3 skincare products. So this is kind of like a makeup skincare hybrid. It's something I really enjoy. I mainly use it as a makeup primer, but sometimes during the winter time, I will use it as an actual skincare product. This is from Merit. It is the Great Skin Instant Glow Serum. It just leaves your skin feeling incredibly hydrated and very smooth and looking just kind of like refreshed overall. So typically when I'm using this, I will use it in the morning. Now, I recommend using a very, very small amount of this. I think they say on the website, like, for dry skin, use 3 pumps. For normal skin, use 2. And then for like combo oily skin, use 1 or 2. If you have oily skin, I would recommend using like half a pump. And I do think this product comes out pretty quickly because it is like a very thin product. the smallest amount goes such a long way. It's not like your typical facial oil. Like, it's not thick by any means. It's super, super lightweight. It almost has more of like a watery consistency to it, or like a serum-like consistency, but even thinner than a typical serum. Anyway, I like using this as a primer because there are days where I deal with a little bit of dryness, and even when my skin is more oily, I feel like I can still benefit from a very hydrating base. This is different than like a typical face primer that feels more like a hydrating moisturizer because it has that oily texture to it. And if I use a small amount and just like press it into my skin, my foundation goes on flawlessly. And the glow actually shows through my foundation. So I do have this on today, and I have my go-to foundation, the Catrice True Skin foundation on top of this. And that is a little bit more of like a matte leaning foundation, but my skin looks pretty glowy. And I do find that makeup wears very beautifully on top of this product. But again, because it does have skincare benefits, you can totally use it as a skincare product as well in the morning or at night. So that's kind of why I put it in the skincare category. I've used this a lot, and it looks like I've barely made a dent in it because I'm telling you, like, half a pump is all I need for my skin. So I wanted to mention this. I don't know that I've talked about it a ton on my channel, but it's one of those products that like sits on top of my makeup collection and I reach for depending on what my skin is like. One skincare product that really does make a visible difference for me is the Polish Choice 2% BHA Liquid Exfoliant. I can actually see a difference in the texture of my skin when I use that product versus when I don't. And when I don't have it in rotation, my skin just doesn't look its best. So that is something I've loved for years, and at this point, I just make sure to have it on hand. I will say I stopped using that with a cotton pad, and it has stretched so much longer. I just finished up a bottle of it, and I think it lasted me like 7 or 8 months versus when I would use it with a cotton pad and I had to repurchase it like every 3 months. So I usually just use it on my hands, press it into my skin, and that's perfect. But I wanted to recommend this set. I actually saw that they have a set on Sephora's website. It comes with 2 4-ounce bottles. They actually say the 6 months of glow kit because you get 2 bottles. And one bottle did used to last me 3 months. But again, since switching to using it with my hands, I can stretch it and make it last like 7 months. So in my case, this should be called like 14 months of glow kit. But anyway, you get 2 full-size bottles for $53. It's $68 in value if you were to purchase them separately. But again, if you pick it up during the sale, you'll get even more of a discount on it. So I wanted to mention that in today's video because it is a product that I truly love. It really kind of smooths over my skin, and it also balances my skin a lot. Like when my skin was extremely oily and I would use that product regularly, I noticed that it wasn't quite as oily. The last product I wanted to recommend is The Ordinary's Multi-Peptide Lash and Brow Serum. Are you sick of hearing me talk about this? I feel like maybe I should take a break on this, but I really love it. I think it works so well. It's affordable. I've seen such a difference. I feel like my eyelashes have grown a ton. And I wish I took like better before photos, and I feel like sometimes it's just hard to see, but you yourself, like as you're doing your makeup and applying mascara, you can tell. I didn't have like the most drastic results where it looks like my eyelashes have doubled or anything like that, but I had very short eyelashes. I just do naturally. And when I use this product and I'm doing my makeup, I notice that my eyelashes look so much longer. In fact, sometimes when I wear the Ardell Demi Wispies, my natural lashes are a little bit longer than those, which has never happened to me in the past. So this product really does work well. It's fairly affordable already, but during the sale, you can save even more. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to share with you in today's video. All of my recommendations for the Sephora VIB sale, or just Sephora recommendations in general, even if you're not planning on shopping this specific sale. These are just high-end products that I truly think are worth the price. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you have any recommendations for us to try or for us to check out, and I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye.